check it out. The 2011 Mustang 5.0 liter V8.
Not just the 5.0, the brand new 5.0 from Ford. And we're gonna pull the engine out, and we're gonna show it.
Well, what it really means is we've got an engine on a stand. We're gonna break it apart, show you the technology of how it really works. So stick around. What do you think, Brian? Bigger rear end gear for the back, maybe a lightweight flywheel, get this thing spooled up quick?
I like them all. I'm going wheels myself.
Wheels are good. You know what goes in a wheel? Nice big old brakes. You know, I like this body kit too. You know, this is kind of cool. I think it would look really good all blacked out on this car. Now we're in the candy store. This is Moss Muscle. I mean, they have everything from a 94 and up Mustang.
Yeah, what's fun about the Mustangs, you know, you can really get a lot of cool parts. And today we're going to put this grill in, but before we do that, let's kind of tease you a little bit about this brand new 5.0.
Yeah, now this is the new 5.0, not to be mistaken with the magical 5-liter that's been around on the Mustang, you know, the old 302. This is a 32 valve, twin independent, variable cam timing, a lot of stuff going on in there, but you're going to have to wait to find out a little bit about that.
That's right. First thing, let's go ahead and get this grill. Now to do that, we're going to have to pull the front fascia, and let's get it started. All right, we got this baby done. I think it looks pretty sweet. Get rid of this tape that we had on here. Now we got rid of the fog lamps. We got rid of the emblem. Got it all nice and clean and black up here in the front. And you saw how easy it was. 4 bolts here or there, a couple of clips, a couple of tabs. And that was pretty fun, painless, and easy.
Now speaking of easy, there's so many great parts for these muscle cars. This is an awesome era to be in. You know, we just changed the look of this interior by adding these little carbon fiber, you know, cover pieces. So you can see real easy, we changed the whole look and feel of this interior. There's a lot of really good stuff that was already here. I mean, check out this classic steering wheel, touch button controls, ambient lighting throughout. You know, the sill plate, we got the Mustang logo, put you in the mood to go for a drive. Now I'm kind of putting off this motor thing for way too long. I'm getting excited to go tear it apart. Come with me.
Now driving that Mustang today, I think what really impressed me, man, was out of the hole, serious torque. I mean, you know, but then you get up to the top RPM, I mean, it's pushing out to like 7,000 RPM out of a stock car.
Yeah, 7,000 RPM in a factory OEM car, that's unheard of.
And still pulling. Yeah. I mean, you know, like you get that thing up, it's from all the way from the base, all the way to the top, it's just straight along.
Yeah, and on the old days, it was all about, you know, no replacement for displacement. Bigger engines let you get more power and torque, but nowadays there's no replacement for hardcore engineering.
Yeah, and that's been the mantra for Mustang over the years, all the way through from the beginning in the 60s, you know, almost 50 years from 64 and a half, and we've gone from somewhere around 200 horse.
Yeah, that was 1995. To now we've gone 200 horse more.
Oh yeah, like what is it, 412?
412, 390 foot-pounds.
Crazy.
But with a torque curve, a torque curve that starts way at the bottom and just keeps on climbing.
Yeah.
Now that's all about technology. So there's a technology bundle in here that all works together to get you that sort of performance.
Yeah.
So we're gonna walk you through that when we come back, see the inside out.
This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by Waterloo Industries, storage and organization. Experience life uncluttered.
Welcome back. All right, we got our 2011 Mustang 5.0. We're starting to take it apart. How much fun is that? Now, this is the evolution from the modular motor. Been around for a long time, and they went in 1 year, they've gone up around 100 horse.
Yeah, they went from 315 horsepower last year to 412 in a single model year. Now that's not an easy task. That's a lot of little things. So we're going to show you a lot of that technology that was added together, and each one of those bits got you that 100 horsepower.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things was the alternator was here in the front. Well, now,
very choky.
We've got our intake plenum up here. It's throttled by wire, so as it comes through the core support, got a nice smooth charge coming straight into this composite intake. It's nice and light, keeps the temperature down, which is what you want. And if I flip it over, you can just kind of see how the bottom looks.
Yeah, you've got a nice, smooth entry into the plenum, And that sets up these runners to scroll around, and it's a straight shot into the cylinder heads. Now these cylinder heads are all new, and you can see a modular feature. They do a flat cut on the intake face. You know, the old wedge on, you know, a small block Chevy or whatnot, when you bolt that head on, you're actually bowing that engine enough, you can measure bore distortion, and that's sealing, it's oil consumption, and it's power. So kind of a neat feature. Well, these are all new heads this year. These are a compact RFF, roller finger follower. And what that is there's a little rocker arm in here with a roller on it, and it's underneath the cam. So you got a lash adjuster on one side, and you got a valve on the other. So that's how that valve train works.
And here's a coil pack. So usually you would have a spark plug with a wire. Well, everybody in their design is trying to get the coil as close to the engine, as close to the fire as possible. Get the direct shot.
So this is all new. It's got brand new ports in it. Huge, huge flow numbers.
Yep. Now here's a front cover. You can explain that.
Yeah, and obviously this just seals this really complex front end, but really this is sort of two, you know, high-tech 4-valve I-4s, you know, stuck together in 90-degree V.
Yep.
Now these are solenoids. These are going to control these really complicated cam phasers. And what a cam phaser does, you can see this guy here, this pin pops in and out and actually pushes on here, and there's oil inside. Well, there's veins, and these veins will have oil on one side or the other. It can actually push the cam rotation-wise forward or backwards relative to the chain. But the oil is only controlling its position. The trick part...
This is where it gets complicated. Hold on.
Yeah, the trick part, these are cam torque actuated. As you're trying to open that valve, it's creating a load on the lobe of this cam. As the cam comes up, let's say on the roller, it's got to load one direction, so if I let this slip, you know, I can ratchet backward and advance a cam, and as the roller comes over this side, it's pushing down.
Like a
I
one-way
can ratchet
clutch
my
almost.
cam the other way. Exactly.
Freaky.
And it's so fast because I've got a signature all up and down these sticks. So I can
It's
go
only
forward
doing
and
it at
backward.
7,000 RPM, and it's double there, right?
Yeah. So the neat thing is, you know, I've got control over each one of my cams. Now, any engine builder is always thinking, God, what do I want to compromise when I pick my cam?
Yep.
Well, this is awesome because there's no compromise. You can pick your cam profiles and you can move them around so you can decide when my valves are opening and closing, how much overlap do I have?
So it's like having a low-end cam and a high-end cam.
Yep.
And that's why you get such a smooth transition and such a smooth power band, which is awesome, why that thing drives like a madman.
And on top of that, even though I've got a low and a high end and a middle for power, I've got cams that I can do fuel economy and cold start for emissions. That's why it idles so smooth and gives you all that power.
Amazing. All right, well, that's just the beginning. That's just the top side. We haven't even gotten in the inside yet, so we got to take a break right now, so stay tuned. This is cool.
Here's this week's Spark Plug tip, brought to you by Champion Spark Plug.
Now, you may have heard of iridium. Iridium actually fell from the sky. It's a precious metal that landed here in a meteor, and it works great on a spark plug. Why? Because it's got great resistance to all the corrosion that's going on in an engine. Plus, it has low resistance to electricity, so the electricity gets through and makes you a nice hot spark fast. Now, if you were to look in a book, say like this Champion Spark Plug book, check out the Malibu, for example. Two different models. One uses a double platinum plug, the other one uses an iridium plug. What's the big deal? It actually takes less voltage to run the iridium plug than it does the double platinum. So be detailed and make sure that you get the exact plug that's made for your vehicle.
All right, well, as you remember, we were talking about cam phasers. So on this engine, we've got 4 cams and 4 independent phasers that we can move those cams around. So now we can do more with cams than we've ever been able to do before. So let's lay out a couple of load profiles. So we've got an exhaust cam profile and an intake cam profile relative to crank angle. Now normally we talk about lift and duration, you know, and then we get a little bit more, we talk about lobe separation. That kind of gives us a general idea of the overlap, you know, and the duration and lift of these cams, what kind of performance we're going to get, and characteristics, whether it's big and lopey, it's kind of torquey for an RV, you know, our high RPM power maker. Well, there's 3 things when we look in the OEM that really define a cam that helps us out, and that's intake valve closing. So intake valve closing, obviously I've pulled my fresh air in. When do I shut that valve before I start compression? Well, that's going to be trapping. Now trapping, you know, is how much volume I can get in there. That's how much power I can make, and it's going to change based on RPM. So if I've got tuning, like an intake tuning, you know, I might have a wavelength that tunes at a certain RPM and not at another. Plus I've got speed of the engine changing where my speed of sound isn't. So I really want to move this around. Now on the other side, I've got exhaust valve opening. So that's how much work I can extract out of all that compression and ignition. So when I open that valve again, I'm either going to open it too early, bleed out some of that charge, or I'm going to wait a little bit too long, and now I got to push it out versus just opening the valve and letting a lot of pressure escape. So I've got something in the middle here. This is overlap. Now overlap is kind of tricky. You know, on a production engine, you know, if I look at my cylinder here, I've got intake and exhaust. On the intake side, I've got about an atmosphere because, you know, that's what's out here. So that's the pressure I can push in here. Well, on the opposite end, at the tailpipe, I've got atmosphere too. But all along this way, I've got all these restrictions, catalytic converters, mufflers, bends, and tubing. So this is going to be a lot higher to try to push out. So it might be 1.2, 1.5 times atmosphere. So if I've got overlap, I'm actually going to be pushing exhaust back into the cylinder, and I'll push it up in my intake track just in time to breathe it back in. Well, I can't make any power that way. So overlap on a production engine is very difficult. So we usually got to run smaller duration cams and close that off. What's really neat, when you've got phasers, you can control all this stuff, because at different times, different speeds, you're going to have different dynamics going on and different pressures. And I want to be able to take advantage of that. So it's really cool. Ford gave us the inside scoop. This is their wide open throttle cam strategy. So as we walk through this, you know, we can look at different RPMs, we can look at this lobe separation angle, and we can look down here at the overlap. And watch how this thing moves around. It moves around a lot. So as we go through the speed, I can start to build a lot of overlap. As I get a little higher in speed, I might not be as tolerant. I'm going to dial that overlap out. And then this feature down here, intake valve closing or trapping, it's going to dominate. So as I move that guy along, that guy's moving all over. So if I back and forth, I mean, you can see how much, you know, dynamics you're going to have in your cam motion. Well, this is also cool. Check this out. This is their exhaust system. If we check out their tubular header, this is a new thing. They were able to take the odd firing of a V8 engine on a bank, and we talked about this on our Camaro show. On one bank, you're going to have a 90, a 180, and a 270 degree separation between firings on a bank. Well, they were able to pair these, and with a lot of modeling, this is a visualization of what's going on inside that header. Now, these are paired so that the connected cylinders are very immune to each other's blowdown. So as this guy blows down, and maybe some of this red from one cylinder starts to come up into this side, it doesn't care. It's not an overlap. Whereas if this cylinder was connected to the green one, that might be an overlap. Now I've got exhaust pushing back up into adjacent cylinder. It's going to rob me of power. It's going to make me knock limited. So there's a whole lot of optimization going on here. Now up to about this point in the exhaust, man, I've got everything about as tuned as I can get. It's all working like this big complicated system. But from here back, now I can start looking at back pressure. I can reduce back pressure, I can get better sound quality, I can make it sound meaty, and I can make it look awesome too. So we've got some MagnaFlow exhaust we're gonna put on. It'll look really cool. And if you're interested, there's a lot of technical guys on our forums. Jump on board and join the crowd.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speedtv.com or visit TwoGuysGarage.com.
This tip is brought to you by AutoGeek.net. We are car care.
We're back with Mike Phillips, our detailing expert, and we've got some interior tips for you today.
The first thing you want to do is you want to vacuum the interior really well. You want to remove all the loose dirt out of the carpets, out of the seats, out of the stitching, and out of the perforated holes. To do that, we're going to use the Metro Vacuum Blow.
Okay, so now we got it clean. We'd already vacuumed this side. Now I'm using a leather cleaner, going around and really cleaning up this seat. You can see by the pad, we've already actually picked up a lot of stuff.
When he was doing that, the microfiber pad gives you some very gentle cleaning action. While he's treating that side, I'll clean this side. What he's applying now is the Pinnacle Leather Conditioner. This is a lanolin-based and a water-based conditioner. And this is important because this will protect the stitching from deteriorating.
Sorry, Mike, I got a little bit of leather cleaner on the dash there.
Well, that's okay. I've got a vinyl rubber protectant. I'm going to put some on a microfiber applicator pad and go up here and clean that.
Perfect. Now the final detail, a little brush, a little duster to get inside those vents, get around the little cracks and crevices, finish it off right. That's what detailing's all about.
That's what it looks good. For more tips and techniques, visit AutoGeek.net and click on Show Car Garage.
All right, welcome back. Now, the first thing we gotta do is take the old exhaust out. Sorry about that shot. Whoa. That's it. There we go. That was easy. All right. Cool. Now, got that old one out of there, which was easy. That's one of the funnest and easiest things you can do on your car to make it sound better, make it go faster. And when you want the best of the best, you gotta look to MagnaFlow. Absolutely.
These guys make top of the line stuff. It's all stainless steel, 3-inch mandrel bent.
These guys do a lot of work, a lot of prototyping, a lot of sound quality testing to make sure that their product goes in easily and sounds great.
Well, you just bought one of the coolest muscle cars ever made. And you don't want to take, a shortcut by putting on just any exhaust, because there is a lot of work. Just like we talked about all that tuning on the engine, there's a lot of tuning in the sound quality. So you just go bolt on something, you might get a drone, at 2,500 RPM when you're on the freeway, and you just can't take that road trip because it's just booming in the cabin. So it's critical to get it sound right, but at all speeds and all loads.
Oh
right?
yeah, and you see, look at the bend quality. One of the things I really love is if you look at all their stainless steel tubing, look at the factory tubing. They clamp these and do a mandrel bend. Look at the original where it comes around to the front. I mean, anytime you can smooth these up, just like all the engineering that you guys do in the beginning to make the header right, to get the flow, the great thing about the MagnaFlow is going to push it all the way out.
Yeah,
smooth.
And it's all about looking good too, I mean, this is about all the details of getting the performance.
Looking good?
But looking like a show car. Now this is a nice looking tip. This is from the factory. It's a single stem, single tube, rolled over the edges. Looks all right, but let's take a look at this MagnaFlow.
Oh man.
They just go that extra level. I mean, check out the dual wall, just all the polishing, it's like the little logo just barely printed on the side. Looks awesome, So not only can you go fast and sound good, but you can look good too.
Now to put it in, I'm gonna grab the X pipe here and we can compare the two, and you can see the bigger diameter tube, they're crossing over nice and easy. And what we're gonna do is grab the original clamps, those will bolt right in, and should go pretty much as simple as popping the old one out, put the new one in, good to go. All right, man, the MagnaFlow exhaust went in perfectly. That 3-inch just looks so gorgeous under here. And they have a lifetime warranty on it, so you don't have to worry about it. Went in easy.
Yeah.
And do that motor. That was a great explanation. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in that motor today.
Yeah, thanks to Ford for letting us talk about a lot of this in-depth, behind-the-scenes technical stuff. So hopefully you learned a lot about, how Ford pulled off some of that magic.
And speaking of thanks, Moss Muscle was nice enough to give us that grill. That was really cool.
You know what? It was just a teaser. I want to do so much more to this car, so I put together my little dream list. I want to call them up and get my order in. It's just a short one.
Wow.
You
Dude, I got a catalog. That's all you need.
You're just going to get one of each?
All right, let's go see what this MagnaFlow exhaust sounds like.
Yeah. That stage of the car where you're going to tear stuff apart, it's one of the worst stages because you're thinking, how many of these bolts are going to snap off because I can't get them loose?
Usually about 10, but not if you have the Loctite freeze and release. This is cool. You spray it on a bolt. It's going to shock freeze the bolt. It's going to shrink it. It's going to loosen all that rust, and it's got a penetrating oil, so it's going to ooze in those cracks. Do a really good job of getting loose those old nasty rusted fasteners.
Yeah, 5 to 10 second shot on that fastener, it's going to change dimensionally because it's going to change the temperature so fast. Now you're going to get some micro cracks in that rust, And now you got room for that penetrant, which isn't going to freeze it. About -45 is what you can get down to, which is pretty cold instantly.
Pretty cool.
So it'll eke down in there. Next thing you know, you wait a few seconds, you can pop those fasteners loose. So forget the penetrating oil. This is the penetrating oil with the free shock factor in it.
That's right. The Loctite freeze and release. All right, next product up is from Duplicolor. This is their bed armor.
Yeah, this is a water-based polyurethane coating, so it's a durable bed liner that you can put on yourself.
And even though it's durable, it also is a nice, friendly smell because it's water-based.
Right. Now, you want to make sure you do a good prep. They got everything in the kit that you need, you know, from Scotch-Brite, get everything clean, scuff it up. Now you're ready for step 2, applying. Little roller, you got a little brush action, and if you make a mess, it's easy to clean up.
It's a big bonus having the water base. So easy to just wipe up. And it's got Kevlar chips inside of it. Makes
Yeah.
it nice and strong like a bull.
That's what they make bulletproof vests out of.
And
Now,
tires.
It doesn't mean you can shoot holes in the back of your truck,
That's right.
but it's going to be durable, it won't flake, chip, you know, or peel off.
That's right. The Duplicolor bed armor.
Now, these are from Race Part Solutions, and you know, basically the name tells you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to give you a solution to your race car, your street car, your hot rod, because you're always modifying it, and they don't always make the parts for your modification that you can just go buy.
Yep, these are made in USA. They have aluminum, stainless steel tubing. These are easy to polish, mandrel bent, and no matter whether it's from 1.5 inch all the way up to 6, so no matter whether you're, you know, upgrading a turbo, doing a lower intake hose,
Yep.
any kind of plumbing deal you've got to have, this is an easy way to go.
Yeah, and it's great, because if you got to make a top radiator hose, get a couple sections, you can cut them, weld them together, and then you stick some silicone on the other end, and it's high quality 3-layer stuff that's good from -65 to 550 degrees. So you can put this anywhere in your engine compartment and get done what you need to get done.
Race Part Solutions, you go on the site and it can really save you from taking a situation where you feel really uncomfortable and you feel like you've got no way to go and really make it easy. We use these, it's a piece of cake. So that's the end of the show today here at Two Guys Garage. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.